World War II was unlike any conflict before it. For 6 long years, from 1939 to 1945, the world was locked in a brutal struggle. More than 30 countries across the globe were involved. From the beaches of Normandy to the jungles of Southeast Asia, battles raged on land, at sea, and in the air. It was a truly global conflict with millions caught in its wake. The war's impact was felt far and wide. Cities were reduced to rubble, economies were shattered, millions of innocent lives were lost, leaving behind a legacy of grief and devastation. But amidst the darkness, stories of courage, resilience, and the unyielding human spirit emerged. Ordinary men and women rose to extraordinary challenges, displaying acts of bravery and selflessness that continue to inspire us today. From soldiers fighting on the front lines to civilians enduring hardship at home, the war touched the lives of countless individuals, leaving an indelible mark on history. To understand the roots of World War II, we must look back to the aftermath of World War I. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, officially ended the First World War. However, it also sowed the seeds of future conflict. Germany, blamed for the war, was forced to accept harsh punishments. They lost territory, were burdened with crippling reparations, and were stripped of their military strength. The treaty left Germany deeply resentful and economically unstable. This created a breeding ground for extremist ideologies. People were desperate for change and a return to national pride. Into this void stepped a charismatic and dangerous leader, Adolf Hitler. He promised to restore Germany to its former glory, appealing to nationalist sentiment and preying on the fears and anxieties of a wounded nation. Adolf Hitler and his Nazi party rose to power in Germany in 1933. The Nazis promoted a toxic ideology of racial superiority and territorial expansion. They scapegoated minorities, particularly Jews, blaming them for Germany's problems. Hitler's regime quickly became totalitarian, suppressing opposition and controlling all aspects of society. The Nazis rearmed Germany, violating the Treaty of Versailles, and embarked on a campaign of aggressive expansion. They annexed Austria in 1938, claiming it as part of a greater German Reich. Emboldened by this success and the inaction of other European powers, Hitler set his sights on further conquests. The world watched with growing apprehension as the Nazi war machine gathered strength, casting a dark shadow over Europe. On September 1st, 1939, the world watched in horror as German forces invaded Poland. This act of unprovoked aggression shattered the fragile peace that had held since the end of World War I. In response to Germany's actions, Great Britain and France declared war on Germany, marking the beginning of World War II. The invasion of Poland was swift and brutal. German tanks and aircraft overwhelmed Polish defenses, employing a new military tactic known as blitzkrieg, or lightning war. This strategy relied on speed, surprise, and overwhelming force to quickly cripple the enemy. The Polish people fought bravely against the invaders, but they were outmatched. The invasion of Poland marked the beginning of a devastating conflict that would engulf Europe and spread across the globe. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the devastating consequences of unchecked aggression. Following the invasion of Poland, the war in Europe escalated rapidly. Germany, allied with Italy and Japan, formed the Axis powers. The Axis sought to dominate Europe and expand their empires through military conquest. Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium, and France all fell to the Nazi war machine in quick succession. The speed and ferocity of the German advance shocked the world. Great Britain, standing alone against the Nazi threat, braced for a German invasion. The Battle of Britain, a months-long air campaign, raged in the skies over England. The Royal Air Force, though outnumbered, fought valiantly against the German Luftwaffe. Their courage and determination prevented a German invasion and proved to be a turning point in the war. While war raged in Europe, tensions were also escalating in the Pacific. Japan, a major military power with its own imperial ambitions, sought to expand its control in Asia. They saw the European powers' preoccupation with the war in Europe as an opportunity to advance their own interests. On December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, a major US naval base. The attack, intended as a preemptive strike to cripple the US Pacific Fleet, shocked the American people and propelled the United States into World War II. The attack on Pearl Harbor was a pivotal moment in the war. It brought the United States, with its vast industrial and military might, fully into the conflict. The war in the Pacific would prove to be a long and brutal struggle marked by fierce fighting on land, at sea and in the air. Section 7. Turning the tide. The tide of the war began to turn in 1942 and 1943. On the Eastern Front, the Soviet Union, after enduring unimaginable losses, began to push back against the German invaders. The Battle of Stalingrad, a brutal months-long siege, marked a turning point in the war. In the Pacific, the United States won key victories at the Battle of Midway and the Battle of Guadalcanal. These battles halted Japan's advance and put them on the defensive. Allied forces began to liberate territories occupied by the Axis powers. The war was far from over, but the Allies' growing strength and determination signaled that the end was in sight. The human cost of the war, however, continued to mount. Millions had already perished, and countless others had endured unimaginable suffering. Section 8. Victory and Unfathomable Loss. On June 6, 1944, Allied forces launched a massive invasion of Normandy, France, known as D-Day. This daring operation, the largest amphibious assault in history, marked the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe. After fierce fighting, German forces were driven back and Paris was liberated in August 1944. In the Pacific, the war continued to rage. American forces, through a series of costly island-hopping campaigns, slowly advanced towards the Japanese mainland. The battles of Iwo Jima and Okinawa were particularly brutal, with heavy casualties on both sides. On August 6th and 9th, 1945, the United States dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The devastation was immense, and Japan surrendered on August 15th, 1945, marking the end of World War II. The world rejoiced at the news of peace, but the cost of victory had been staggering. Section 9. Forging a new world from the ashes. The aftermath of World War II left the world forever changed. Millions lay dead, entire cities were in ruins, and economies were shattered. The horrors of the Holocaust, the systematic genocide of 6 million Jews by the Nazi regime, shocked the conscience of the world. In the wake of such unimaginable devastation, the international community came together with a shared determination to prevent such atrocities from ever happening again. In 1945, the United Nations was founded on the principle of collective security, with the goal of maintaining international peace and promoting cooperation among nations. The post-war period also saw the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers. This division led to the Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension and rivalry that would shape the latter half of the 20th century. Section 10. The enduring quest for peace. World War II stands as a stark reminder of the human capacity for both good and evil. It is a testament to the courage, resilience, and selflessness of ordinary people who rose to extraordinary challenges in the face of tyranny and oppression. The war's legacy continues to shape our world today. The United Nations, flawed but essential, remains a beacon of hope for international cooperation and conflict resolution. The lessons learned from the war, the importance of diplomacy, the dangers of unchecked aggression, and the need to confront hatred and intolerance are as relevant as ever. As we remember the sacrifices of those who fought and died in World War II, let us honor their memory by striving for a more peaceful and just world. May we never forget the lessons of the past, and may we continue to work towards a future free from the scourge of war.